But I'm Mike Wilbon on assignment in Chicago.
I'm Tony Kornheiser, Chicago, where Northwestern and the Bears just happen to be playing this weekend.
I think I'm gonna bail on one of those. You want to guess which one?
You're going to bail on the Bears. You're never going to bail on Northwestern. Even though they're like 70-point underdogs to Ohio State, you're going to that
29 and a half. 29 and a half at Wrigley Field. Yeah.
That's a lot. Welcome to PTI, boys and girls. In today's episode, the Chiefs face the Bills, Tennessee travels to Georgia, and Mike Tyson gets into the ring with Jake Paul. But we begin today with the Eagles beating Washington last night, 26-18. The critical play of the game may have come with 8:01 to go when Washington coach Dan Quinn elected to go on a 4th and 2 from the Eagles' 26-yard line with the score of Philadelphia 12, Washington 10. The play failed. Jaden Daniels was tackled behind the line of scrimmage. The Eagles took over and quickly scored 2 touchdowns, and they won handily. Wilbon, do you put this loss on Quinn?
No. I would not have made that decision, I don't think. I think I would have played the kick of the field goal because I'm from that era, that generation, that time of sort of coach decision-making. And all the coaches I've covered 100 years ago, and you too, would have kicked the field goal. But we're in a new day and time. I don't begrudge him, Tony. It didn't work. But I got to tell you, when Jaden Daniels, when he planted that right foot in the ground and started to run right, and he always gets to the marker. He always gets to the first down marker. So I thought, okay, he's going to make it. And when Philadelphia got those defenders out there and shut him down and closed that corner, it was like, whoa, this is a game changer, obviously a great play. So I'm going to credit the Eagles with getting out there and making a play that really no defense I've seen, and I watch every one of their games, have been successfully able to make. It cost them the game maybe, but I'm not going to say he blew the game in some way. I'm not.
Yeah, so we're going to have honest disagreement here because I sat in this chair a couple of weeks ago and I said I agreed with Todd Bowles of Tampa Bay when he went for the 1-point conversion, not the 2 against Kansas City, and you took the other position. A couple of days later, I said I agreed when Zach Taylor of Cincinnati went for the 2-point conversion against Baltimore. Both those teams lost, and I still defended the calls. I'm not defending this call because it's an indefensible call, and now I will tell you why. There's 8 minutes to go in the game, okay? It is a 12-10 game. It's a very low-scoring game. You kick that field goal, you get to 13-12. Your field goal, it's a 43-yard field goal. Your kicker's been with the team for 2 games now, but he's 3 for 3. The other kicker, the Philadelphia kicker, has already missed 2 field goals and an extra point. So if it's 13-12 and you call on him for the game winner, that gets a little bit dicey. And plus, I think it's a bad play call against a very good rush defense. Philadelphia's got a very good rush defense.
Call. You got this guy being the rookie of the year and a short list for MVP.
He's hurt, Mike. He's hurt. He gets taped on the sideline all the time. I completely think it's a terrible call. And by the way, you know how we talk a lot about MVPs and we almost exclusively talk about quarterbacks? Saquon Barkley is a bona fide MVP candidate.
Yes, he is.
He's now ahead of Derrick Henry in yards rushing and yards per game rushing.
Yes.
He had 146 rushing last night. He had 52 running and 2 touchdowns. He's bona fide. We disagree. I think that was a terrible call. I do. Terrible call.
Tony, again, as I started the segment, I would not have made that call. I would have kicked the field goal. Terrible? I mean, we can. There's a lot of room between I wouldn't have done it and terrible.
It's the middle of the 4th quarter. You go up, you take the points.
Yeah, but they got the MVP, Saquon Barkley, who busted along when he might have been figuring that if you're Quinn. I'm just saying.
That's right. No.
Sunday's NFL schedule has some great matchups. And one of them, unbeaten Kansas City, the champs, visit the 8-2 Bills in Buffalo. They haven't lost at home all season. And in another, the 7-2 Steelers host the 7-3 Ravens. As Booger McFarland detailed yesterday, Lamar Jackson has historically struggled against the Steelers' defense. This is a small sample size, just 4 games. He's 1-3. Tony, which is the more intriguing game to you?
All right, just let me answer that, and then I'll get to the larger answer. He's 1-3 against them. In 4 games, he has 10 turnovers and 7 interceptions. That's not good. That's not good. So let me get to the answer here. I would pick the Chiefs at the Bills because it has that feel to me of the Colts and the Patriots when Peyton Manning and Tom Brady used to do this.
That's
because
fair.
I think that
That's
Patrick
fair.
Mahomes and Josh Allen are big stars. I think they're heavyweights. Josh Allen has the best of him in the regular season, but nobody has the best of Mahomes in the postseason. And my feeling about the other game, about Pittsburgh and Baltimore, is because they're division rivals and they play each other at least 2 times every year, it has a more common feel to me. Now, it's a wonderful game. Russell Wilson has really improved the Steelers. He's 3-0 since he became the starter. They are not offensively challenged anymore like they've been over the past amount of time with Mason Rudolph and Kenny Pickett and Justin Fields. But they're not undefeated, Mike. Kansas City's undefeated. They're the last team. They're 9-0. That makes it more special to me because if you knock off a 9-0, that's a real big deal, a bigger deal to me than knocking off either a 7-2 or a 7-3.
Yeah, Tony, we're splitting hairs here. I'm going to watch both these games. So it doesn't matter, which one is bigger. They're both huge.
Yeah.
Kansas City, Buffalo have played often enough, but that's common. It's not division common, but they've played often enough between the regular season and the playoffs. We've seen it. There's no great intrigue there. It's not like in 1927, the American League playing the National League. It's not that. And in Baltimore, Pittsburgh, Tony, I know that neither one of those teams is defensively what it has been in Super Bowl years when it's rock'em sock'em robot time. And that's what I still identify with. That's what I still want to watch. But there's an element, the toughness, the grit, those two cities, what they mean. Lamar Jackson, to me, is still above all the others on the short list. And I agree with you on Saquon Barkley moving up. But Lamar Jackson's at the top of that list to me for MVP, right?
This year.
And I want to see what Steelers, I want to see what Mike Tomlin's got for him. And let's see if Russ can continue that kind of offensive display and getting down the field against a vulnerable Ravens defense, vulnerable like we've never seen before when they're a good team. So I'm going to narrowly edge, and we're talking about tiebreakers.
That's fine.
I'm going to take Baltimore, Pittsburgh.
I will point out that Pittsburgh is 7-3 in the last 10 against Baltimore. 7-3. That seems decisive to me. Let's turn to tonight's boxing extravaganza. Mike Tyson, one of the great heavyweights ever, against Jake Paul, a YouTube celebrity turned boxer. Paul is 27 years old and weighs 220 pounds. Tyson is, 58 years old and is entering the ring at 233 pounds. Wilbon, what, if anything, is at stake for Tyson tonight?
Absolutely nothing. Are we going to forget the fights against Michael Spinks and Razor Ruddock? And are we going to forget the great knockouts and Tyson coming into the ring? You and I have been ringside for this at times.
Yeah.
When he comes in like this to mama say knock you out, and he's got the white towel that he's torn and put over his head, and it looks like he has no socks and the black boots. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I don't care what happens tonight. I don't care if Mike Tyson comes out in a LeBron James jersey. I wouldn't care. It doesn't matter what he does. Mike Tyson also is not a stranger to us. We've covered the good and the bad, the sublime and the bizarre. Mike Tyson's son, Amir, was our intern. Let's have full disclosure at PTI. And I loved having him, got to know him. I know much of his family. This is not some dude from Mars for you and me. We've known him for forever. I want to see it. I think I'm going to pay for it and watch it. Nothing is at stake for Mike Tyson. Nothing.
You don't have to pay for it. It's on Netflix. I know you have Netflix.
Okay.
You're not going to have to pay for it. All right, let me just talk about Tyson for a second. I don't know what's at stake for him either, unless he plans to get back in the ring and try to be champion again, and he's not going to do that. Maybe some small slice of his reputation, but I'm agreeing with you. Nobody who saw Tyson in his 20s is going to be moved at all by anything that happens tonight when he's 58 years old. Okay, so this is not going to be hit and giggle, if I'm correct about this. This is real hitting. And I think it was Tyson who first said, everybody's got a game plan until they get punched in the mouth. And it's not going to be like Floyd Mayweather against Conor McGregor. It's not going to be a real boxer against a guy who likes to try to kick you in the face. I mean, Paul is now a real boxer, so any advantage Tyson might have if he was strictly an MMA guy, that's gone. I think I speak for both of us. I'm old, you're old. We're rooting for the old guy. Mike Tyson is incredibly important in the history of boxing.
Yes.
I don't think this Paul kid would be in The Hangover with a tiger. I don't think so. And Tyson was. Tyson was. Let's take a break. Coming up, does number 7 Tennessee or number 12 Georgia have the edge when they meet tomorrow?
And should we root for the Bengals or the Chargers to win Sunday night's game? It's Mike Tyson. This other dude, it doesn't matter who the other dude is. He's a stand-in. Right. It doesn't matter.
That's right.
I'm glad it's not Chris Paul. Right. This Paul I don't care about.
Pardon me.
Time for toss-up. 2 men enter, 1 man leaves, finishes the show, then naps for 4 hours before waking up to watch Mike Tyson fight like this was 1986. What's first?
Toss up, which way are you leaning tomorrow? Number 7 Tennessee or number 12 Georgia?
Now, I'm leaning towards Georgia, Mike. I think they have to win this. I think they're done if they don't win. That would give them 3 losses and, more importantly, would basically eliminate them from the SEC championship game. I know I've said to you that I think an SEC team with 3 losses can get into the playoff, but I think you have to be in the SEC championship game if that is going to work. Tennessee has 1 loss. It's not as critical a game for them. If they get a second loss, there's 30 other SEC teams right now with 2 losses. So I don't think that's a big deal. And I like Georgia, obviously, because Georgia is at home. But I will tell you, I'm leery about the quarterback, Carson Beck.
Yeah.
I believe that in his last 4 games, he's had 9 interceptions, Mike.
Yep. It gives you pause, Tony. But Georgia's not going to lose this game between the hedges. And if that means running the ball 65 times or benching Carson Beck, they'll do it. They're not losing this game at home. This is pretty much, to me, as close as you get on a Saturday between 2 worthy teams as a guarantee. I mean, Georgia's lost, they lost on the road. They lost tough games. They lost at Alabama. They lost at Mississippi. Those are 2 top 10 teams. They're not losing at home to Tennessee. They will rebound, and we will go back and forth. You and I will have plenty of time to go back and forth about the 3 losses because I think the committee will find a way, if it can, to put Alabama or Georgia in with 4 losses. Because it's just, it's just like hitting likes on social media. Tony, it doesn't matter. It's an invitational. It's the SEC Big Ten invitation. That's why I'm not going with you and Booger. You're not going to drag me down this path. It's not that I'm not excited about the season. You guys tried to divert that yesterday. No, it's this bogus poll. It's this bogus thing on Tuesday and the show that comes with it. They're going to put as many SEC teams and Big Ten teams as they can stuff into the 12, and Georgia's still got a real shot if they win this game, and they will.
That'd probably be 7 or 8 of them as they could stuff in there. What's next?
Toss up, which team would you rather see win Sunday night's game? The Bengals or the Chargers?
Okay. I am partial to the Bengals. I am partial to their offense. I'm partial to Burrow to Chase. I mean, they score so many points. They lose a lot of games, but they score so many points. They're so much fun to watch. I don't really have a good read on the Chargers. I know that they're in turnaround of sorts with Jim Harbaugh. I know they're 6-3 at this point. Maybe they would be a playoff team. I also know they don't score a lot of points. I think it's actually under 20 a game. They seem sort of pedestrian to me, Mike. I mean, they are remarkably unglamorous for a Los Angeles team. So I will cast my fate with the Bengals.
Well, they're not a Los Angeles team. They're still a San Diego team. Thankfully, they have those jerseys, and I hope they're wearing the baby blues. I mean, let's face it. You want to see those baby blues. The 2 most interesting uniforms to me in football these days, they're both kind of baby blues, even though Mississippi's are a little darker. How about those Ole Miss uniforms they wore last week? Those are great. And the Chargers, Harbaugh and Herbert. I'm going to root for them. I don't root against Jim Harbaugh. I just don't.
Really?
I've rooted for him since he was a quarterback in college. Even though I never root for Michigan, I rooted for him. I rooted for him when he was drafted by and played for the Bears for about 7 seasons, it seems to me. My memory may be failing me. I think it's about 7 seasons. I love Jim Harbaugh. I wanted him to be the coach of the Bears, and I'm proving to be right on that score, too. Yeah, I don't care about the Bengals. Boomer Esiason is not there anymore. Carson Palmer's not there. Those are the guys I rooted for. They're long gone, 50 years gone. I'm rooting for the people in the baby blues, and I like Justin Herbert, and I think he's undervalued. It's not an L.A. team. It just isn't. They may play there. Nobody in L.A. even knows they are there. They ought to play in San Diego and Petco. That's where they belong.
For years and years and years, you said the Chargers took a nap. You got to prove to me they won't do it again this year. That's it.
Naps.
Let's take one last break. Still to come, is LeBron or Wembanyama more likely to put up huge numbers tonight?
And what should we expect out of Caleb Williams and the Bears offense against the Packers Sunday? This is not about Caleb Williams and the offense. This is about the Bears as a team. They've fallen and they can't get up. This is about the franchise, the team, not Caleb Williams.
But he's part of the team. He's the
Rookie receiver Keon Coleman and tight end Dalton Kincaid have both been ruled out for Sunday's contest against the Chiefs, while Amari Cooper is listed as questionable with a wrist injury. Adam Schefter telling us earlier in the week, looks like he may play. But still, Josh Allen and the Bills 3-1 against the Chiefs in the regular season since Patrick Mahomes became the Chiefs starting QB in 2018. However, and this is what matters more, Buffalo 0-3 against Kansas City in the playoffs. And the main reason is its defense, which has allowed nearly 15 more points per game in playoff matchups compared to the regular season. Anscape's Justin Tinsley has more on the Allen and Mahomes dynamic.
Comparing anyone to Michael Jordan feels sacrilegious.
The greatest thing about Jordan is he has all the tricks.
But then again, watching Patrick Mahomes is a spiritual experience too. The swagger, the intensity, the flair for the dramatic at the biggest moments. It's all there. And so is the cast of legends that never intended to be supporting characters in their reigns of terror. Like Josh Allen in the Buffalo Bills. Rumors of Allen's downfall headed into this season were greatly exaggerated. The cannon of an arm remains lethal, with far less interceptions albeit. The maniacal toughness that teeters on reckless is too.
Now he's going to run, and the beast has once again been released.
This season, though, there's a zen-like calm to Allen. When success starts and ends with you, there's peace in knowing that no other option exists. Josh Allen just has to go and take it. But that's far easier said than done, though. Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen are linked forever. Their battles are classics that literally changed how the game is played.
Every single game, it seems like it comes down to the very end.
Are you kidding me? Unbelievable. The Bills get the lead back again. Patrick Mahomes to Travis Kelce on a push fade comeback, and the Chiefs have won.
All Josh Allen wants to be is on the right side of history when it matters most. A win Sunday doesn't completely change that narrative. But here's the thing about history. You only get so many chances to write how you want to be remembered before history does it for you.
RC, we showed you some of the injuries offensively that the Bills are dealing with.
Yeah.
What should their plan be against a really tough Kansas City defense?
Okay, this is kind of like Samuel L. Waxon, but we got to let James cook.
3 times.
Like, this is the only way for this team to have an opportunity. Go back to last year's regular season game and watch the way that they use James Cook in the passing game, not only underneath with option routes and one-on-one matchups, but stretching the football field. You can use him in some of those matchups in between the numbers, and also the run game for Joe Brady has to be huge, something that's been focused on a lot more since Joe Brady took over midway through last season. And I think if you could do some of those things to alleviate the pressure on Josh and allow him to only have to be special at times with so many of his skill players down, I believe you shorten the game and you put the ball in one of your more dynamic playmakers' hands as much as possible.
I think the thought is treat James Cook like the Eagles treat Saquon Barkley. I mean, realistically, they try to get Saquon 25 touches a game. I would try to get James Cook 25 touches in this game. Now, I think the 2 runs that they lean into most is the duo concept, and I like that versus the Chiefs. Double teams, and it's James, just read the interior block. If you want to bounce it outside, bounce it. But if we get push, they're just trying to get 5, 6, 7 yards. That's run number one. Run number two is when they pull their tackles. Both are capable of doing it. I like when Dion does it just a little bit more. Dion Dawkins, their left tackle, and they get downhill, and he's got really good vision. It's like last night as well. I was watching that game, and I was like, Kellen needs to just continue to call the run because Saquon will eventually pop one. I feel Joe Brady, this game will lend itself to just stay disciplined, stay committed to calling runs, because I think eventually James Cook has the ability to break a long one and then eventually break open the game for Buffalo's offense.
Yeah, I agree, and I think also if there's an emphasis on the ground game and a dedication to it, even if it doesn't go great at first, because this Chiefs run defense is really good, it will help them exploit the linebackers in coverage because they're going to get nosy and they're going to be focused on getting downhill against this run game that goes north-south that way. And that's where this Chiefs defense is probably most vulnerable. I would say the linebackers and the safeties are who you want to attack in coverage. And I think if they do run the ball and run the ball consistently, that'll even help that cause. I'd like to see the play-action pass flowing off of that. The other thing is, yesterday I talked about how the Chiefs defense is vulnerable to tight ends. Unfortunately, Dalton Kincaid is not playing in that game. But did you guys hear that? It's Dawson Knox. Sorry, you did your joke and you did your joke. He has to have.
Yours was the best one.
Thank you.
She's called Impact.
Dawson Knox has to have a better game than he has all season for the Bills to win this one. I truly believe that.
Yeah.
On that note, I did allude to this, that we are evenly split on our picks. So Mina and I on the Bills are seeing Dan on the
fun.
Chiefs. Dan, you first. Why are you taking the Chiefs?
I think the injuries to Buffalo and not knowing what Amari Cooper you're going to get, no Keon Coleman, no Kincaid, that's big.
All right, I think we're maybe out of time, so I'm just going to say that we're all split here. I love that for us. Enjoy the rest of this slate this weekend. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. We will be with you Monday from Dallas. Remember,